I am Maria Yurdi Kaplan, Executive Director of the Transbay Joint Powers Authority. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here today on this very special occasion. We did it, everyone. Congratulations. Before I jump into remarks, I do want to recognize that Senator Boxer's representative is here with us today, Jennifer Tang. Senator Boxer, along with Senator Feinstein and Leader Pelosi, have been extremely supportive of the project for many years and instrumental in getting us where we are today. I would also like to thank Peter Osborne, who's here from the Federal Railroad Administration, representing the United States Department of Transportation, Secretary LaHood. Secretary LaHood, like the President, has also been very supportive. Thanks to their help, we received $400 million in ERA grants recently that has the project under construction today. So thank you for all of your support. As everyone knows, 6 years ago, we held an international competition for teams of architects and developers to design the transit center and the tower on the property where we stand today. The team of Pelli Clarke Pelli Architects and Hines won that competition with a design for the transit center that will stand for generations as a model for elegance and functionality. 3 years ago, we made history when we broke ground on the Grand Central Station of the West Coast. And now the station is under full construction, and you can hear the cranes next to us. And today we make history again with the celebration of the record land sale of more than $191 million and ceremonial groundbreak of what will soon be the tallest tower west of the Mississippi, the Transbay Transit Tower, also designed by Cesar Pelli. Mr. Pelli has designed an office tower that is luminescent, elegant, and that will redefine and grace San Francisco skyline. The transit tower will also serve as an anchor for the new Transbay Center and highlight the importance of public transit to the region and the state of California. As you know, the proceeds of the sale of the tower property, over $191 million, will help to fund construction of the transit center and allow us to keep providing thousands of jobs to our disadvantaged communities, veterans, disabled veterans, and women, and allow us also to continue our mentorship and internship opportunities for our youth. It's important to give back with these public infrastructure projects, and that's what the Transbay Transit Center project is doing. The partners in the development of the tower, Boston Properties and Hines, have committed to build improvements that will integrate the tower with the transit center. And on the east half of this site, you will soon see Mission Square, which will serve as the primary entrance to the transit center. Mission Square will also feature elevators allowing the public access to the rooftop park of the transit center and provide a meeting and resting place for travelers, workers, and residents of the area. The workers in the tower will have direct access to the rooftop park via a pedestrian bridge that will enjoy the benefits of working in the new Transbay neighborhood. We congratulate Boston Properties and Hines on their commitment to the Transbay project and welcome them to our transit-oriented community. I would now like to introduce a man who has been essential and continues to be vital to the Transbay project, Ed Lee, our mayor, the mayor of San Francisco. Mayor Lee firmly believed in and supported the Transbay project since its inception in the 1990s while he was at the Department of Public Works and then as the city administrator. And for that, Mr. Mayor, I am profoundly grateful. Without your support, we would not be here today. Thanks to Mayor Lee's leadership, San Francisco adopted the Transit Center District Plan, which rezones the Transbay area to promote transit-oriented development. It will also provide crucial financing for the Transbay project and other infrastructure essential to realize our mission to make the Transbay community a national model for sustainable development. Mr. Lee, Mayor Lee, thank you.
Thank you, Maria Ayerdi. You know, I want to begin by thanking Maria because she's now on her third mayor. And if you're someone who's heading up such an important project for the city, and you have to transition every time a mayor comes in, one has to appreciate the anxiety, the twists and turns, the foresight, the confidence that she must continue instilling in her small staff, but more importantly, in the investor community, because this is where it's at. And if she doesn't have a good story to tell with a lot of confidence, then her job is going to be even harder. And the economy did not help the last 10 years to make that story any better. So, with that, I want to just give a hearty thanks to Maria's leadership for the last decade and a half of just putting this project and continuing her perseverance in the effort to make this center happen. Today we celebrate the sale of the land from the Transbay, for the Transbay Transit Tower, from the Transbay Joint Powers Authority to the Hines Boston Properties. And I've just, for the first time, really met Mr. Hines and Mr. Zuckerberg. They've been lifelong friends. And I want to just say that I'm going to hang out more with them because I can hear a lot of stories between you two that would help me run this city better. So we're going to try to do that. But, I will say that when this transit tower is complete, it will have the impact of transforming our city's skyline with the tallest structure west of the Mississippi in Chicago. And I'm about to leave for China tomorrow. And I get to go to China and tell them, we've got the tallest building west of the Mississippi. What about you? And they're probably going to tell me that they got tall buildings over there as well. But at least we get some bragging rights here that we can say. The state-of-the-art security, safety, sustainability features, a planned 1.4 million square foot office tower developed, owned, and operated by Hines and Boston Properties. They have incurred the renowned legendary architect, Mr. Pelli, and this is going to be a beautiful, beautiful structure. This building will bring 4,200 good construction jobs to San Francisco. I want to thank everybody that has been involved in this. As you can see, the demolition of the former Transbay terminal site is now complete. And for me, that's a big reality check because when I was assigned to be the Public Works Director by former Mayor Willie Brown, I still remember cleaning up the alleyway behind the old Greyhound station and moving people along inside and outside that terminal. And now to know that that demolition is complete, it helped people get jobs, particularly because of the ARA funds that were made available. There were 55,000 hours of labor all done without any accident or injury in that demolition. 90% of that important work was completed by the 9 counties Bay Area labor force. That's an incredible contribution to our working folks throughout the Bay Area. But I'll tell you, the real story is not necessarily this empty site, although we today will celebrate its anchor in all of this whole region. It will be really what will be built in the near future to serve our city and our region. We have always believed that a transit center would be a critical anchor for the economic development and for jobs in the city. It was a bet that the future would be about cities, great transit access, dynamic mixed urban centers, a place for innovation and inspiration. We truly believed that over 2 decades ago when we started this. Within 1 block of this transit center, there are 4 office buildings either under construction or about to begin construction. And taken together with today's announcement, I think it's safe to say that our bet was right. You can see the investor confidence happening in this city. This new wonderful transit center and the transit tower is only the beginning of what will be happening in blocks surrounding this site. Last year, the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors approved the Transit Center District Plan, a grand vision for a vital new part of downtown San Francisco to take shape around this site. This plan responds to the needs of our city for its incredible future to be the center of our region, to go in the right way, responsibly, providing jobs and embracing existing transit services as well as our future high-speed rail, and respecting today's constrained resources and climate challenges. We all realize that the responsible way for San Francisco and the Bay Area to grow in the future is to accommodate new jobs in the city center areas like this so that people can use public transit, walking and bicycling to get around. A new and large part of what the Transit Center District Plan is all about is this new transit center. Public amenities and the private buildings that are envisioned in this plan expect to generate at least 25,000 job years of construction employment alone. When complete, this new district will accommodate at least 27,000 permanent jobs here in the center of our city. The new state-of-the-art office space provided as part of this plan will help ensure San Francisco remains the knowledge economy center for the region, if not nationally. This new downtown district will accommodate 6 million square feet of new office space, 4,500 units of new housing, 1,200 of which will be permanently affordable housing, approximately 100,000 square feet of new retail space, 1,000 new hotel rooms, over 11 acres of new downtown parks and open space, and of course, a network of livable and walkable streets. It's an important part of this story is how we're paying for the critical public infrastructure. Now, many of us were hurt when the redevelopment agencies were eliminated in this state. But here in this center, this plan employs that continuing innovative public financing strategy that pays for the majority of the streets, the parks, the transit facilities, and the affordable housing by leveraging the value of private investment that will be attracted here and using the power of tax increment financing, the value of the public land, and the targeted developer fees, and helping us create this vision without resorting to overburdening our general fund or raising any new taxes. When this terminal was originally built along with the Bay Bridge in the 1930s, it was the symbol of progress for a growing city. And I'm confident that the growth of this center of San Francisco will continue in this century with a new Transbay Transit Center and a new downtown district. I also want to, again, give a great shout out to President Obama. It was his ARA funds that really helped kick this off. The leadership of Leader Pelosi and, of course, Senator Feinstein and Barbara Boxer were there with this vision, this leadership, and their ongoing, constant, up-to-date support. At the state level, Governor Brown has been a very strong supporter, and the leaders of both houses, President Pro Tem Steinberg as well as Speaker Perez, have shown strong leadership on this. You know, today we're going to show you a check that's probably going to be about $192 million. But I will say that that check is much more symbolic about many, many other checks that will come as a result of investor confidence in this city. I want to thank Labor for being such a great partner in all of these different projects. I want to thank our business community for working so closely with us. I want to thank the Transbay Joint Powers Authority for being such consistent entities here to just steer through all of these years of changes and economic turmoils. I want to thank our friends at Hines and Boston Properties for just being such a great anchor for the success of our city. Congratulations to all of us, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We very much appreciate your remarks. Thank you very much. It is now my pleasure to introduce a very important woman, not only to this project, but to this new Transbay district, Supervisor Jane Kim. Supervisor Kim was appointed to the TJPA Board of Directors by the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. She currently serves as a member of the Board of Supervisors Finance and Budget Committees and chairs the Rules Committee. She also sits on the San Francisco County Transportation Authority Budget and Finance Committee and the Treasure Island Development Authority Board. I would like to express my appreciation to our chairperson, Jane Kim, for her unwavering support of the Transbay project throughout these last few years. It is my great pleasure to introduce the Chair of the TJPA Board of Directors and District Supervisor Jane Kim.
Good morning, and on behalf of the Board of Directors of TJPA, we want to welcome you to the site of what will ultimately be a stunning landmark for the city of San Francisco, the tallest building west of the Mississippi. About 2 years ago, Mayor Lee and I stood roughly in this area with Maria Ariarty-Kaplan to announce the groundbreaking of the terminal site. And at that time, if you all remember, it was a very different time. We were talking about a time when construction had pretty much slowed to a halt here in the city, and we were greeting workers that had not worked for years, who were finally welcoming employment in their household and their families. 2 years later, we are standing at a very different time when I believe the mayor announced that we now have at least 47 cranes in the skyline here in the city of San Francisco. So it's amazing how much change can happen over 2 years. The Transbay Center District Plan, I think, has been an important part of that. And it's much more than the terminal and the hub. It's really the focal point of a comprehensive plan marking the new center of downtown, surrounding transit also with housing, retail, on jobs on a scale that has never been seen at this scale on the West Coast. In total, the program represents an exciting evolution both for District 6 and for the city of San Francisco, connecting 11 transit systems and boasting the 5.4-acre city park. The Transbay Transit Center will be an incredible asset to the San Francisco Bay Area, which continues to show tremendous growth. And we're accommodating growth in a manner that both leverages our economic success while preserving our environment and building complete neighborhoods that includes a more walkable neighborhood that's safer for our pedestrians, open space and places of gathering for the residents and office workers that will be here, places to work that you can walk to, places to live, 30% of which will be affordable for our residents here in San Francisco, which will ensure a diverse community in this part of downtown. We must improve and enhance our transit infrastructure while concentrating a dense and vibrant development around it that truly highlights why San Francisco is a world-class city. As the chair of this board, I have had a rare opportunity to be more intimately involved in this process. And I know that Pelli Clarke Pelli has done an incredible job of envisioning a transit tower and a terminal that will truly enhance our skyline, both high and low. And as the district supervisor for the South of Market and sponsor of the Transit Center District Plan, I'm excited that the existing residents will soon benefit from amenities of a complete neighborhood that they invested in early on when they moved to this neighborhood. I'm also proud to represent a city that has undertaken such a large and complex project. And Mayor Lee said it, we do have to give thanks to our director, Maria Ariarty-Kaplan, who has been our chief for the last 10 years. And it's been a very complicated plan and project. And it takes a level of persistence and tenaciousness and vision to ensure that a project happens like this on time. As an elected official, I am very sympathetic to also acknowledging our other elected officials here in this room, and I want to recognize Jose Cisneros, who's here from our treasurer's office, and our former Assemblywoman, Fiona Ma. And I would be remiss if we also did not acknowledge our former mayor, Willie Brown, and our former state senator, John Burton, who I know have been huge supporters of this project from the very beginning and continue to help us to this day with our federal and state relationships. So thank you to them as well. I recognize our director, but I think it's also important to recognize our board of directors who have been really instrumental in advising this project, both from a construction standpoint and a community standpoint. And I want to recognize our directors, Art Lloyd, Gabriel Metcalf from Spur, Ed Riskin, our director of SFMTA, and Bijan Sartipi. I'm not sure if he's here, but we also have our alternate member, Greg Harper, who will be a founding member of the board that will be participating more frequently from this time forward. So I just want to thank everyone again today. It's been a long process to get here, and many of us that have been more intimately involved in this project know, but it's really a momentous occasion that we're here today to celebrate the groundbreaking of this tower. So thank you to everyone here. I forgot to mention, actually, that our state senator, Mark Leno, has also presented a commendation, a certificate of recognition to the Transbay Transit Tower project team. And he states, "Congratulations on the occasion of celebrating the groundbreaking of the Transbay Transit Tower. On this auspicious occasion, we mark the beginning of a historic project that will transform transportation in San Francisco and mark the South of Market neighborhood as a 21st century regional hub. This grand central station of the West will serve as a monumental beacon in the city's skyline, creating thousands of jobs and stimulating local economic growth. Congratulations and best wishes in this endeavor." Senator Mark Leno.
Thank you, Supervisor. Very much appreciate your work and your help and advice throughout these years. Thank you. If I could have maybe one of our team members grab this. Thank you so much. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, who is the architect of both the Grand Central Station that's under construction and the new transit tower soon to be under construction, Cesar Pelli. Cesar Pelli's remarkable career in architecture began in Argentina, where he was born and earned his degree. In 1977, Mr. Pelli became Dean of the Yale University School of Architecture and founded Cesar Pelli and Associates, the predecessor to his current firm, Pelli Clarke Pelli Architects. Cesar Pelli's portfolio contains a wide variety of projects that have achieved world renown. They include the Twin Petronas Towers in Malaysia, which were for a time the world's tallest buildings, the World Financial Center in Manhattan, next to the New World Trade Tower, the TWA Terminal at JFK, the San Bernardino City Hall in San Bernardino, the Pacific Design Center in Los Angeles, and the U.S. Embassy in Tokyo, Japan, just to name a few. And I know he's also been working recently with Boston on another project in Washington. Mr. Pelli has 12 honorary degrees and more than 200 awards for design excellence. In 1991, Cesar Pelli was listed as one of the world's 10 most influential living architects by the American Institute of Architects. In 1995, he was awarded the gold medal by the American Institute of Architects in recognition of a lifetime of distinguished achievement in architecture. Mr. Pelli has avoided formalistic preconceptions of his designs. He believes that buildings should be responsible citizens and that the aesthetic qualities of a building should grow from the specific characteristics of each project, such as its location, construction technology, and purpose. The Transbay Tower is a marvelous expression of Mr. Pelli's sensitivity to our community. It has been an absolute honor to work with Cesar and his team and see his creativity and vision come to light. Please welcome Cesar Pelli.
Well, this is a very important day for me today. I have been dreaming about this tower and this center for over 6 years. Now it is all going to be reality. And I hope in not too long we'll all gather here to celebrate the openings of the tower and the center. You know, I have always admired and loved San Francisco. It is an incredible city. It is dynamic and at the same time is gentle, delightful. It's an incredible place. And we have designed the tower appropriate for this city. The tower will be svelte, but dynamic, elegant, and very gracious. It will be very appropriate tower for this great city. And now that it seems to be the tallest tower, not only in San Francisco, but west of the Mississippi, what a marvelous marker for this place. When you see it at a distance, this tower, you will know that the transit center is at its base. And when you arrive in San Francisco, in a super rapid train from Los Angeles or San Diego, you will get out and you will be in this tower. So it's a marvelous combination to have the gateway to the city and the tallest building next to each other. It's an extraordinary combination. This will create a new center for the city, a new focal place for the city. The tower will raise into the sky, and we have designed it to be as delicate as possible and to end in a top that will almost dissolve in the air. So it will be indeed, it will be a very San Franciscan tower in every respect. It will be a gorgeous tower, and I'm so happy to be here today. Thank you all very much.
I'm always impressed when I see Cesar because he just doesn't age. He's just timeless. Thank you, Cesar. Our next guest speaker's name is synonymous with quality in real estate development. Since 1957, Jerry Hines has led one of the world's paramount real estate development and investment firms. He is the co-owner and chief executive officer responsible for directing all firm policy and procedure, as well as participating in major new business ventures and cultivating new and existing investor relations. Hines has an impressive portfolio with 1,208 properties valued at approximately $24 billion, making the firm one of the largest real estate companies in the world. One of the many reasons we chose to work with Hines was because they have set and continue to set new industry standards for quality in real estate development and management. Jerry, I want to personally take this opportunity to thank you very much for believing in our project 6 years ago. At that time, not many people thought we would get to this point, but you did, and you stayed the course with us through a very difficult economic period. There are many, many people out there who have the vision and foresight to see past tomorrow. But Jerry Hines does, and that is one of the reasons he's so successful and admired by so many. Thank you, Jerry, for helping make today a success. We would not be able to have been here today and keep the project on schedule without you and your belief in us. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria, Mayor Lee, Supervisor Kim. It's a real pleasure to be here today with such an exciting project and with my good friend, Mort Zuckerman. Boston Properties is a great organization with strong commitment to excellence and environment. And let me give you one example of that. This building will be the first that I know of that will be able to introduce 100% fresh air on every floor, creating a sustainability and lowering the energy requirements of any building in the United States or the world. So, thank you, Mort, for helping us on that. And I think that we have been in this community since the late 70s. And we've developed some 9 million square feet, and it's wonderful to be part of this, of the pride of San Francisco. But also, this tower will be part of an initiative of our country, which is to move closer and into the Pacific. I don't know if you know it, but this will have almost not quite a twin, but in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, you'll have 2 towers by Cesar Pelli looking to one of our major initiatives of our country in the next 15 years, which is the Pacific. So we will be the brother of the sister in Hong Kong. So I want to thank each of you for the help and the journey that we've been on. I'd like my son, Jeff, and Jim Bowie, the CEO of the West Coast, who has endured many, many battles. We share the property, share the privilege with Boston Properties, and thank you for the opportunity to develop such a wonderful, high-quality, energy-efficient building that we are going to be so proud of. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Jerry, very much for those comments. Now, our final speaker today, but not least, is Mort Zuckerman, a man who needs no introduction and who I have tremendous amount of respect for and is an incredible inspiration to me. He is a man who has worked tirelessly his entire life in numerous capacities to make this a better world. He's a self-made real estate icon, a publishing magnate, and probably most important, Boston Properties' own in-house political pundit. He is the chairman and editor of the U.S. News and World Report and is the chairman and publisher of the New York Daily News. He is also the co-founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of Boston Properties and a regular commentator on the McLaughlin Group. Mort Zuckerman defines the term citizen. He is a trustee of Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Washington Institute for Near East Studies, the International Institute of Strategic Studies, and vice chair of the International Peace Institute. He is also the vice chairman of the Fund for Public Schools and serves as a co-chair of the Bipartisan Policy Center Cybersecurity Task Force. He is a past president of the Board of Trustees of the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in Boston and a former chairman of the Conference of the Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations. He has championed causes that have helped countless individuals, including journalism, education, and real estate, just to name a few. Since he founded Boston Properties in 1970, Mort Zuckerman has led the company to success after success. Having owned Embarcadero Center in San Francisco since 1999, Boston Properties is now increasing its presence in San Francisco with the purchase of not only the Transit Tower property, but also 535 Mission and 680 Folsom. The San Francisco Business Times recently reported that nowhere is Boston Properties as bullish as in San Francisco, and that Boston Properties has emerged as San Francisco's biggest office developer. We thank Boston Properties and Mort Zuckerman for paying San Francisco such a huge compliment. We're incredibly honored to welcome Mort Zuckerman, our newest neighbor and partner in this historic project. Thank you, Mort, for your commitment to this project, and thank you for all the good you do. We look forward to working with you and Jerry and Hines in this innovative public-private partnership.
Thank you very much. I speak here on behalf of Boston Properties. I think we are looking forward very much to expanding the company's name to Boston San Francisco Properties when this building is finished. It is no great challenge or difficulty for me to stand here and express a lot of enthusiasm, for it captures two of the things that mean the most to me in life. One is, I am, to put it in a phrase, an urban alcoholic. I love city life, and anybody who loves city life cannot help but love San Francisco and all the good things that are happening here. And the other thing is, if I may say so, I love to work with great people, and Jerry Hines, for those of you who know him, know that he fits into that category. In fact, if you think this building is the tallest building west of the Mississippi River, Jerry Hines is the tallest developer from south of the Canadian border. Now, I think it is just terrific to be able to put together the vision that he has brought to everything that he has done and the work that we can do together. I want to say that this is not an accident. You need urban leadership to do that, and you have that in this city with the mayor, with Maria, and with the supervisor, Kim. This just does not happen by accident that you were able to bring as many good people together and as much in the way of financial support in order to back up your dreams. And I think what we have here is something that Shakespeare described in a very interesting way when he said, "'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished." Everybody wishes to have this kind of a project take place in this kind of a city and show the kind of energy that cities can have, and when they have good leaderships. So we are, as we say, just thrilled to be here. It is not easy to do these things. I mean, you have to give birth to the deed itself. It's one thing to talk about it, another thing to make it happen. And you have, in this city, the kind of people and the kind of business community, the kind of political leadership that makes that possible. We're just thrilled to be a part of it. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Mort. It's an honor. And I believe now we have the check presentation. And I will let Mort do the honors. Mort, if you could come up, please. And the mayor, and Jerry, and Supervisor Kim.
I did not say that this was the painful part of the process. Mark Zuckerberg will be paying the rest of the money for it.
So, so the check is made out to the Transbay Joint Powers Authority for $191,816,196.57. Bob Peaster with Boston actually said, "Do we have to give you the 57 cents?" I said, "Yeah, Bob, you do. We've raised the money penny by penny." This is a record land sale transaction. Thank you all very much for coming. Thank you all to our partners who are here, the business community, the building trades, the laborers, the carpenters, operating engineers, everyone that's here, our former partners and our dignitaries. Mr. Mayor, thank you for coming. Mort Zuckerman, Jerry Hines, and everyone. I now invite you to a light reception. Thank you very much. Oh, no, sorry. I forgot the most important part. We're going to break ground. We're going to do the shovels. So if the people who have been asked... 2, 3.